Hey guys, Nick here. Welcome to my Flash episode review. My thoughts on tonight's really revealing episode of The Flash titled I Know Who You Are. And obviously, big spoilers if you guys haven't watched the episode. But obviously, tonight we find out the identity of Savitar. And to be honest, I'm not the only one in saying this, that this was really, really predictable. And my fears are kind of met in that it's who it is. I don't think it was worth the wait because so many of us were able to predict who it was. And obviously, if you guys have watched the episode, you know Savitar is Barry. And it's just like, and there's so many people online because it just finished airing on the West Coast. And I just got done watching the episode a few minutes ago. And my fiance and I were watching the episode together, and she's caught up on most of the season. And even her, she both, she kind of like convinced me because we kept on talking about it after we saw it. Just like the reveal,
it doesn't make sense.
There you go.
It's not possible.
There you go. And it's just like, and we found an interview online where Andrew Kreisberg said like they're going to explain how that whole thing works next episode, but still it's really confusing because at first like I thought it was going to be Barry from the episode we just saw last week, and then because I was on my way home from work when the episode was airing on the East Coast. By the time I was able to look at my phone, my phone was blowing up on Twitter and stuff saying like, "Oh, Savitar revealed," and I saw a thumbnail that kind of spoiled the episode for me. So I kind of had an idea who it was, but I wasn't entirely sure. Then halfway through the episode, I pretty much knew, and then of course the reveal came.
You already knew.
I didn't entirely know.
You said it weeks ago when he said, "I'm the future Flash." The first time you said it, you said it's Barry.
But then I didn't like 100% believe it.
But like point being, most people number one suspect was Barry.
Yeah.
I'm not even in the video.
It's like not even in the video. Wait.
Oh no, I don't have makeup.
I'm gonna show everyone because you have put on channel in a little bit.
Here I am.
Sorry. But yeah, it's just like this whole reveal. I mean, like, again, we were just so many of us were able to predict it, and it's just like, when your audience is that far ahead of you, that's not really a good thing, you know? And it's just like, for me, like, this season has been okay. It has been the best. I feel like each season is like slowly going down in quality. Like, I enjoy a lot of the episodes week to week, but as a whole season and as like the season long story that's going on, because at first there's just so much going on at the beginning of the season with Flashpoint and Dr. Alchemy and then Savitar, and then they waited until like 3 episodes away from the season finale before they even reveal who the villain is. And by the time you get to the villain, a lot of us don't even care, and it was predictable for most of us.
And not possible.
And it's just very problematic. And again, it's the episode itself I really enjoyed, and there's a lot of great emotional moments in it between, you know, Joe and Cecile, because Cecile obviously said I loved you at the beginning of the episode, and Joe's kind of dealing with that. And there's a lot of cool action stuff between Barry and Killer Frost and Cisco and Caitlin, and they're trying to protect this physicist or person. I can't remember what kind of scientist she was, but Tracy Brand, I think is her name. And I liked her in this episode. I feel like they're, and I mentioned this to Amy, I think they're setting her up to be kind of like Caitlin's replacement on the team next season. And otherwise, I feel like they wouldn't have brought her up at this point. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like she's going to be on as a series regular next season. And we're probably going to hear about that sometime in the next couple of weeks. I could be wrong, but I just feel like that's where the show's going with that character. I could really care less about HR trying to get with her and if they're going to do a romance thing with them. I really don't care about that because I frankly just, HR is really hit or miss for me. But before we go back and talk about Savitar, I did want to talk about the stuff I did like, because while I do think the reveal is problematic, I still enjoyed this episode again. And some of my favorite shots were of like Barry and Caitlin as Killer Frost like fighting each other throughout the city, and it looked like visually it looked really cool. But again, something I've brought up in the past is that like I throughout that entire sequence, while it visually was cool, I couldn't tell if Caitlin was chasing Barry or Barry was chasing Caitlin. And if Barry was chasing Caitlin, why was he going so slow? Like they're showing his speed to be so inconsistent this season and even last season. And it's just like when he's able to get hit by a gorilla, and Barry can like see it slow motion. He can see things well before they happen or as they're happening, and it's just like, how is he just? I don't know. That's just not like an actor problem or writing problem. That's just like, I mean, it can be a writing problem. It's just a problem that's easily fixable. But they like week to week are just like making Barry like slower and slower. Because I guess they're trying to give us an excuse like, oh, now see, that's why he needs to be faster. It's like he doesn't need to get faster every season. Like, he can, but you guys focusing so much on it, because every season it's like, I need to be faster to beat Reverse Flash. I need to get faster to beat Zoom. I need to get faster to beat Savitar. And it's just like, he doesn't need to do that every damn season. I don't know, I don't know. I feel like I kind of went further off the rails a little bit there than I would have wanted.
I could go off the rails. I want to talk about how it's not possible.
Do you want to join in?
I just wanted to make a point that this is not possible.
Here she comes.
I'm sorry, oh, this is bad. Alright. So, if Barry is Savitar, but Barry, who is Savitar, also lived this whole life before, how the hell was he Savitar and living it at the same time? It's not possible unless there are multiple versions, which they haven't established officially. Yeah. But it's not possible. You cannot be Savitar and the same Barry that's lived that at the same time. And they said in an article that I just read that Grant Gustin said Savitar was created because he was upset about losing Iris, but you can't lose Iris if Savitar didn't kill Iris, and Savitar doesn't exist if Barry's not upset.
And this whole timeline didn't exist before Flashpoint, so that's where it's just...
Like, there's another version of him, or they didn't think this through because not possible.
I think it's more along the lines that they didn't think this through.
And it really, really bugs me. I was literally, like, yelling about it for, like, 10 minutes.
I mean, we were yelling about it for a good few minutes after we watched the episode, and it's just like, I don't know, we both just...
But are you going to insert the Patrick video?
Oh, yeah, and I just feel like...
The best thing to come out of the episode.
We were scrolling through Twitter...
I'm just going to sit on the ground.
Okay, she'll be there in the corner. But, so we were scrolling through Twitter, and we were just seeing the stuff that people were saying, and we came across this video.
I haven't laughed out hard.
Yeah,
you should shout out the person who tweeted it.
Yeah, and shout out to Mr. Batfleck on Twitter. He's the one who posted this. And that's where we saw it from. So here's the little clip from SpongeBob. If you guys watched the episode, it's hilarious. Just here we go.
I'm the last person I would have suspected, but I was looking for me all the time. It's the perfect crime.
See, like, can you guys see that? Like that, doesn't that fits so well?
It's the perfect crime.
Because I saw that again, like after I was off of work and I was scrolling through Twitter, that popped up. And like because I recognized it was from SpongeBob, obviously, and I was doing my best not to spoil anything, but that fits so well. It's like, what? I didn't know it was me. It was the perfect crime. It's just, I don't know. I feel like
we really like SpongeBob.
Yeah, we really do. It's really an important aspect of our relationship. But again, this episode wasn't bad. It's just the reveal of Savitar wasn't satisfying. And as someone who's watched the show since the beginning, and even for Amy, who's someone who's watched most of this season, it's just, you were able to guess it pretty early on as well. And I was able to guess it, like, weeks ago, but I thought
who
that, like...
didn't guess it is the point.
Exactly. Like, so many of us were able to guess it, and it's like, when your audience is ahead of you, again, that's not a good thing to have as part of your show. It's just... I don't know. It's
like, I understand they were kind of dropping hints, but at the same time, they showed it again today. Like, we wouldn't have figured it out yet that he was dropping a hint. Yeah. Even though you did, at least I remember you saying it. Yeah. That he said, "I'm the future Flash," I'm the future Flash, not.
And they had him say that several times in that episode.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was no punctuation in that statement. He was saying, "I'm the future Flash," very obviously. Yeah. And they acted as if people wouldn't have figured that out, but they were hinting. It's like, no, we all knew you were hinting.
Yeah. like if they had done this reveal earlier on, I feel like they wouldn't have pissed so many people off because people were still in the process of figuring that out.
Yeah, they waited too long.
Yeah, because like Arrow, I mean, you don't watch Arrow, but like they had their like villain reveal. I would say like 4 episodes ago now, which is still like middle of the season. So that's like far enough into the season where you get attached to the characters and to the story that by the time you figure out who the villain was, obviously an Arrow spoiler alert because the villain who's Prometheus, it's the actor the character who we thought is Adrian Chase. And for us who were watching Arrow, that was revealing to us because we all thought he was another character. and that he was such a good character, and well-written character, that you wouldn't have believed he was this killer because he was like a super close friend to Oliver, and he was a really good DA, and he was like, oddly enough, Arrow is better than Flash this season. And as someone, and Amy knows this, I gave up on Arrow last year because of how crappy it was getting. And when this year, I wouldn't have thought that my favorite show, The Flash, and my least favorite DC show, Arrow, would swap places. Not to say that the Arrow, or I mean, The Flash is awful, but in terms of...
I genuinely enjoy watching The Flash. I just have issues with the storyline.
Yeah, and again, that just goes to the writing, because I feel like there's so many DC shows now that all these showrunners that were around when the shows were good are jumping to the next new DC show.
Yeah.
Like, there's right now they're like about ready to pick up that new Black Lightning series, but I just feel like the show loses its quality when you're changing showrunners almost every season, and you have all these writers who aren't...
There's no consistency.
There's no consistency, and I think...
Grey's Anatomy went through that, too. I just want you to know. They went through a long period that I was very upset with the show because their writers switched to Scandal and everything, and they got new writers, and they weren't consistent with how the show was, and now they've finally gotten back on track, but there were a good 2-3 seasons where it was just like everyone wanted it to be canceled because it wasn't the same.
Yeah. And as someone who's my only exposure to Grey's Anatomy has been this current season, I enjoy the season of Grey's Anatomy.
This season's been really back more to the basics, which is good.
Yeah.
Back to how it used to be.
Yeah, and that's where you can have, like... Because The Flash, I think sometimes it's like... There are so many characters in The Flash, and they're trying to focus on each little character, but I feel like in Flash sometimes they aren't focusing... Like, the characters sometimes, they don't make them interesting enough to carry their own weight of the story. Whereas, I feel like in the season of Grey's Anatomy that I've seen, each character feel like their story matters in the long run. Whereas, like, with The Flash, like, do we really care about Julian? Like... Because he was introduced this season, and obviously, and Tom Felton, he's done a good job in the role. I just feel like what they've done with this character, it was interesting at first. It's just now, it's just like they made him a weak character, and he's just really uninteresting. And I just feel like this season has just been Flash's weakest season. And again, week to week, I enjoyed the episodes as singular episodes for the most part.
They're good episodes. They're just the story, the big picture isn't.
Yeah, it's just not satisfying as an audience member. As a whole season, it's just like, and it sucks because like when I'm someone who watches and reviews each episode every week, you gotta give me a little something. And because these shows, I mean, I think the season number should be cut in half. That's what I honestly think, because then you get a more focused story. There's no time for bullshit. It's just...
Yeah, they've drawn it out.
Like with all these DC shows, like, Arrow's getting better...
Or maybe don't only have one villain a season.
Exactly. Like you know that show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't watched it.
I have seen it.
We haven't? Okay. So, but, like, what they've done these last couple seasons is that, like, they'll have, like, 8-episode arcs, and then that arc wraps up. And then they do another arc for, like, middle of the season, then another arc for
That's the problem. They don't need shorter seasons, they need shorter story arcs.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like The Flash kind of tried to do that Flashpoint this year, and then they kind of jumped to Savitar, but it's like, the Savitar thing was never even that interesting, because you teased us with the beginning of this season with, like, oh, we're not going to have a speedster as a villain. And we're like, yay, great, awesome, because Zoom, as cool as he was in some aspects, he was kind of a letdown for some of us. And then we get another frickin' speedster as a villain. And when Amy and I were at Paley Fest for the Flash panel this year, when the producer said, oh, there's not going to be a speedster villain next year, the whole place, we were all crazy.
And he was, like, surprised by that.
Yeah, and they're like, surprised. Like, oh, you guys don't like the speedsters? It's like, that's really all you guys do. That's all they do. And it's like, again, when your audience is ahead of you, it's just, again...
Gary's a speedster, Wally's a speedster, Jesse Quick's a speedster, all the villains are speedsters. I understand, like, some of these people already exist in, like, the storyline, but if you're creating new villains, you don't need to be doing speedsters. Yeah.
And especially when, like, Savitar wasn't even that big of a villain in the comics, and they've dragged out this storyline that's, like, ultimately, when the Flash is all done, the series is all done, I feel like this is the season that people are not going to talk about. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter. The only thing I feel like that's happened this season that I've cared about is, you know, Wally becoming Kid Flash, which I enjoyed, Jesse becoming Jesse Quick, which I enjoyed, because that's them becoming their comic book counterparts. And the crossovers have been fun. And actually, I think you'd enjoy the crossovers, because those are the few episodes they haven't seen.
Well, I've seen the crossovers
with Supergirl.
I saw one of the crossovers.
Did you?
Yeah, the most recent ones. I watched the Supergirl one and the Flash one with you, but I never saw the Arrow part or the Legends.
Okay. Well, the Arrow part for this season's crossover was like Arrow's 100th episode as well as the crossover.
I knew they talked about it at the
Haley Fest, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. This whole season again, it's just I've enjoyed episodes. I can't say I'm happy with where this season is ending up. And now I'm just like, at this point, I don't want Iris to die, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't care. Like they haven't made the story as intriguing enough for me to like worry.
At this point, sorry, I don't want Iris to die, but the only way they're gonna make it intriguing is if they do kill her.
Yeah,
because you're gonna be like, whoa, I can't believe they just did that. Otherwise, everything's obvious. Because obviously, we're all assuming Iris isn't gonna die.
Yeah, because obviously, I feel like they wouldn't have shown us so much of her getting killed.
Obviously, we don't want her to die. I really like her, but that's the only way anyone's gonna be surprised. Yeah. What else can you surprise? Unless somebody dies, which even if Caitlyn dies, we are predicting it. I mean, maybe she won't even die, but
she'll be gone.
Somehow, I think Caitlyn's not going to be there. That won't be shocking. So literally, the only shocking thing would be to like kill Iris, to actually have him go through with it.
Yeah. And the only thing, like for like this next season, again, since we know they're not doing speedsters, because the Flash has like his whole set of villains that are called the Rogues, and in the comics, all of his villains have teamed up multiple times against him. So I feel like if they were to get all of his decent villains together, that would make for more interesting storytelling, because you get a wide variety of diverse characters, because you have Killer Frost and like Abracadabra and like a lot of these, and like Mirror Master at the top, and you used to have Heatwave and Kathleen Cold, but now they're heroes on Legends, or at least half of them are. But I just again, at this rate, I just feel like I'm not invested in the rest of this season. Like I'm like, it's, and even though I've seen the preview for next week's episode, it doesn't like Barry's waking up like, am I at the dentist? Like what?
Patrick.
What? God, maybe I should just like I should do a Patrick impression for that. Again, sorry, I feel like I've been rambling and this video's already going on.
This is a really freaking long video.
Yeah, sorry. We have both of us had a lot to say about this episode, but again, this reveal was just a letdown, and again, it's not a knock on the episode. It's not like we're not trying to offend anyone who enjoyed this episode or who enjoyed the reveal. These are our thoughts on the episode and our thoughts on the reveal, and it's just we don't like how it was handled.
I just don't think it's possible.
Yeah, it doesn't.
If somebody knows how to explain to me that it's possible, I spent like a good half an hour explaining to him how it wasn't possible.
Yeah, we kind of argued about it.
Because like I get that it's an infinite, loop, but the loop has to start somewhere. And it can't start if Barry's fighting Barry. So, how did that happen? If you want to explain to me, I would love that, because that's my biggest problem.
Well, my counter to that at first was like, well, who came first, the chicken or the egg?
Which that's completely different. Different chicken in the egg than out in the world. Savitar, same Barry. Thank you. Oh, hi, Wesley.
Yeah, well, like Wesley started to slowly come over to us, but I think with that being said, that's gonna be it from us.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. And again, we don't mean to offend anyone who enjoyed this episode or who's enjoyed this season. It's just, as someone who loved The Flash in season 1.
Happier.
There's Wes. And here's Amy back.
Don't look at me. Look at the cat.
Aw.
He makes everything
Wesley, say hi. Oh,
he's like, what the hell? Oh, I'm not even in the
camera. Hello. Aw, there he is.
Alright, I'm sorry. I just thought this would make the video better.
He did. He makes everything better. So do you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Well, I think with that being said, it's going to be it from all of us here. What did you guys think of this episode? Oh, Wes. Okay. Did you guys like the reveal? What are your guys' overall thoughts on it? Send your thoughts in the usual place in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for all the other content I put up on my channel. My next review that I'm going to be doing is tomorrow night's episode of Arrow, which is an Olicity episode, right. So yay. Right, bye, Amy.
Sorry, he wasn't happy.
Okay. Alright, so again, that's going to be it from us, so until next time. Wait. Have a good one, guys.